All right. So the time is 6:04 p.m. We're now starting the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for April, and we should be having the panelists come in as we speak. I'm just gonna throw up the PowerPoint. All right, and just make sure the presenters are here, attendees. Daniel's here. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, April 28, 2021. The first order and only order of business tonight will be 41 South Pine Avenue, and representing agent is Daniel Hirschberg. Now, since the public hearing has already transpired, it's up to the board if they feel that there is new information to receive. They can choose to, or you can go directly into deliberation.
This hadn't changed at all since our previous presentation, since we weren't asked to provide any additional information. What we have done is we took out the interpretation that was removed by the letter from Brad Glass. But other than that, this is the identical presentation that was available to the board at the last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Hirschberg. Do you want to present it all, or do you want to at least repeat for us what exactly it is that the applicant is looking for from the board?
Yep. Louise, can you go through this presentation? That outlines it pretty well. The first one was eliminated. The second two had to do with original materials shall be retained. New buildings or alterations shall be composed of materials that complement adjacent facades. And the third interpretation had to all portions shall be retained in their original styles with the appropriate supports, balusters, railings, and frame lattice works to the maximum extent practical. Next, please. So we believe that the idea having to do with the change, we believe that this was neither new construction or significant expansion. What it was, in our mind, was a repair of an existing porch, and it was a change in materials. It was actually considered under alteration. I think that definition complies with what's saying, general, a modification or addition to a structure other than normal maintenance or repairs. So this could be considered normal maintenance repairs, or it could be considered an alteration. In either method, I think essentially our goal here is to show that there was nothing about this standard that is violated by the proposed change. Next. Next, Louise.
Luis, I think you froze.
What? Oh, okay. I'm stuck here. I have to try to remember everything on the rest of the slides. I could try that, but I prefer to have.
Can you advance to the next slide, please, Luis?
Oh,
if you haven't
I see,
frozen.
I see. The share pause for some reason. I see it's up there now.
Okay. This project is not a new building, as referred in there. It does not qualify as an alteration, but even if it's determined that it was considered an alteration, it is the materials that complement adjacent facades and are compatible with the quality and appearance of traditional materials. Therefore, we think that denial is incorrect and should not be supported. The third and final reason for denial is based upon the item which says all porches shall be retained in their original style with the appropriate supports, balusters, railings, and frame lattice work to the maximum extent possible. Next, Louise, I think in reviewing this denial, if we get to this point, the balusters and railings around the porch will be retained. The lattice work, which will be replaced with new lattice work to replace the rotted frame. The materials and elements of construction which remain unchanged will be replaced with materials matching the existing porch, so that steps, risers, slope of the roof, top of the columns, interior column basin will be replaced with bluestones, and side walls will be provided as they were with historical steps. They will be replaced with bluestones. And next. The word style and original style was questioned at the BZA workshop. So I provided a definition, which there was no definition of style in the code. So I went to the Oxford Dictionary and Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and they both described it as they're typically determined to be the principles according to which something is designed. Is the Oxford Dictionary, and a Merriam-Webster Dictionary says having or giving an uncommon or appealing quality. The distinctive nature, in our opinion, would apply to the bluestones of these columns. The proposed bases are consistent with the style of other masonry columns in the neighborhood, and we think they share an uncommon and appealing quality. They're not on every porch. There's a significant number of porches that have them. But again, we think that meets the definition of distinctive. And therefore, we think that should be no problem with waiving this denial by the chief planning official. Next.
Yep, and I think you can actually, with this picture, you can stop, and I think that the board can either ask you questions or deliberate as we need to.
Okay.
And thank you. If you don't mind my paraphrasing, or actually, I guess, summarizing, you and the applicant today are coming before us to ask for two interpretations. One, that the work that is to be done is allowable because it is either maintenance or an allowable repair under the code. That would be interpretation number one. And number two would be that the changes to the porch would still fit within the distinctive style requirements of that zone. Is that more or less correct, Mr. Hirschberg?
Yep, that summarized it.
Okay, thank you. Do any members of the board have questions for Mr. Hirschberg? I will take that as none. In that case, are there any wishes of the board?
I would make a motion that we, so for the interpretation, that basically we agree that it falls under the either the alteration or, well, I would think actually the what was the first one? Sorry, now I'm like.
Yeah, so the first interpretation would be to determine whether or not the 375-4G4A, which would be relevant to the materials.
Yeah.
And then 375-4G4DI, which would be regarding the style of deviating from the original construction design. The applicability of both of those to the proposal would be the interpretation.
Actually, could you pull up the PowerPoint again and like at the beginning where like the first slide about the materials? Thank you. I think next one. Yeah, okay. Thank you, give me a second. Okay, so yeah, I'm proposing that we agree that it does not constitute new construction or significant expansion. Mean the work being done doesn't completely undo and redo the building. It's not building new. It's not adding to the existing structure. So I would agree that it's normal maintenance or repairs. As the applicant is arguing for the interpretation. I guess, should we just do one at a time, Rich?
We can do them. We can do them both together if you don't mind.
Okay. So both interpretations or the
Yes.
Okay, because then the variance is not needed based on this interpretation, right?
Correct.
And then for the second interpretation, and can you go to the, what is it, 1 or 2 slides over? Thank you, Louis. So I can find my words. Oh yeah, that the applicant requests that end interpretation that what they're proposing to do, which maintains, you know, the overall look of the porch, and even goes back to try and respect the original style of the porch, although it has the bluestone, which is slightly different, but fairly minimal. They're maintaining a bunch of the balustrade and railings and stuff like that from the current porch. So I agree that it falls under it, that it does respect the original style. That's I guess that's the
Thank
motion I'm making. It's a little bit
It's a
long-winded,
complex
sorry.
walkthrough. I appreciate your,
So thank you. We have a motion that the replacement of some of the porch materials is not an alteration, but rather is consistent with repairs or maintenance. And the second part of the motion is also to interpret that the work that is being done on the porch, which results in some changes, is still consistent with the neighborhood style requirements for the zone. Do we
yeah,
have a
the
second for
maximum
that
extent
motion?
practicable. I would like to second.
Thank you. All those in favor of these two motions together, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or requesting further discussion? Motion carries. Thank you all. And we have no further new business, Louise?
No, 1415 Washington Avenue extension is still pending planning board action, as well as 255 Clinton Avenue, and there are no updates as of right now for 36 Judson Street either.
Thank you. In
I
that
want to
case, I
thank the
would
members
like
of the
to.
board, the chair and members of the board for their motions tonight. Thank you for your diligence in reviewing this item, and I'm happy with the final result. Thank you very much.
This is
Excellent.
Joanne Sternheimer, one of the homeowners, and I would like to echo Mr. Hirschberg's thanking the committee and also thanking you for all of your time and the attention you've paid to this matter.
Thank you.
Your best
In that
wishes.
case, I will close the public hearing for tonight, and we can go off the record, Louise. Thank you all. And as always, good job, and thank you for your service to the city.